battlefield. Though you pretend it is a marketplace, you imagine people trade fairness, kindness, loyalty, as if these were currencies that held weight. But what you do not want to face is that the battlefield devours merchants who believe in illusions. You have been walking around unarmed, carrying baskets of trust into a war zone where others sharpen daggers in the shadows. And you wonder why you keep losing. You wonder why your generosity is met with silence, why your patience is seen as weakness, why your sacrifices are forgotten the moment you make them. You are trapped in the lie that effort and virtue are enough. They are not. They never were. Machiavelli would laugh at your naivety. He would strip the mask from your face and show you the scar underneath. He would tell you that the world does not respect innocence. It consumes it. What survives is not purity, but strategy, not kindness, but leverage, not sacrifice, but self-focus. You have been taught that focusing on yourself is selfish, wrong, immoral, that the good person gives endlessly, weighs endlessly, bends endlessly. That is why you are weak. That is why you feel invisible, because you were trained to be expendable. You were told that martyrdom earns honor, when in truth it earns erasure. You keep waiting for recognition, but recognition is not given, it is seized. You keep expecting reciprocity, but reciprocity is not natural. It must be forced. You keep hoping that patience will make others see your worth, but time is not your ally, it is your executioner. The longer you wait, the weaker your position, and the longer you bleed yourself dry for others, the more they see you as a resource to drain. This is not opinion. This is structure. This is how the battlefield operates. And unless you change, you will continue to die slowly in the mud of your own illusions. The enemy is not out there. The enemy is within. It is the unconscious programming that made you obedient to weakness. You were trained to please, to wait, to hope. Trained to treat your life as if it belonged to others first. Conditioned by family, by culture, by religion, by systems of control that thrive when you are docile. You think you choose generosity, but it is not choice, it is compulsion. You think you choose patience, but it is not patience, it is paralysis. The truth is cold. You have been groomed into submission, and now you mistake it for virtue. Machiavelli's voice cuts through centuries because he dared to say what others hid. That power is not held by the well-meaning, but by the calculating. That survival does not reward purity, but precision. He would tell you plainly, self-focus is not weakness. It is the only shield that endures. Without it, you are scattered, divided, bleeding for causes that do not remember your name. With it, you are concentrated, disciplined, untouchable. The difference is not in talent. It is in direction. Energy wasted outward leaves you empty. Energy forced inward makes you a fortress. You are afraid to be a fortress because you think walls mean loneliness. But you are already alone. Alone in your exhaustion. Alone in your disappointment. Alone in the silence, after giving too much. What you fear has already happened. You fear isolation. Yet the crowd you serve does not protect you. You fear coldness. Yet you are already frozen by neglect. The illusion is shattered when you see it clearly. Self-focus is not loss. It is command. It is you ceasing to be a pawn and beginning to play as a strategist. On the battlefield, pawns move first and defirst. They move blindly. For others, with no purpose but sacrifice. That is how you have lived pawn-like. But you are not stone. You are not bound to die cheaply. You can choose to step back from the board and study the war as Machiavelli studied princes. He saw patterns. He saw how men reveal their hunger, their fear, their vanity. He saw how loyalty shifts with the winds of power. He saw how the naive are consumed and how the cunning ascend. His cold truth remains. Only those who command themselves can command others. And only those who command others can shape outcomes. You want success, but you imagine success as applause, as validation, as harmony. That is why you fail. Success is not applause, it is dominance. Success is not harmony, it is control over chaos. Success is not being liked, it is being indispensable, feared, or untouchably respected. You confuse popularity with power. They are not the same. Popularity is wind, it shifts. It fades. It betrays. Power is stone, it endures. It commands. It dictates. If you want success, stop chasing wind. Build stone. But stone requires focus. Stone requires refusing to scatter yourself across 100 shallow pursuits. You think multitasking is strength, but it is division. You think endless availability makes you valuable, but it makes you common. You think saying yes wins allies, but it only makes you forgettable. Hidden power is built in silence, in self-focus, in ruthless control of your own supply lines. Your time is a supply line. Your attention is a supply line. Your energy is a supply line. Right now, they are plundered daily by others. No wonder you are starving in your own war. Every day you leak. Every day you surrender inches of territory to demands, distractions, obligations that do not advance your command. And inch by inch, you lose. You wake up weaker, less concentrated, more drained. The enemy does not need to crush you directly. You destroy yourself through attrition. That is the quiet war you have been losing. And unless you cut off the leaks, you will never rise above foot soldier. Do not pretend you can balance both worlds. You cannot serve everyone and master yourself. You cannot split attention and still command clarity. You cannot waste hours on what others impose and still claim strategy. You must choose. And if you do not choose, the choice is made for you. You remain cannon fodder. Niccolo Machiavelli once warned that a ruler who tries to be loved above all will end up despised. The same is true of you. Your obsession with being liked has stripped you of respect. Your need for approval has marked you as weak. People do not value what grovels for their favor. They exploit it. You do not inspire loyalty. You inspire consumption. They feed on you because you let them, and they will keep feeding until you cut the line. The hidden power you crave is not external. It is not given. It is built inside, block by block, through a discipline you have avoided. Self-focus is not comfort. It is war. War against your own impulses, your distractions, your hunger to be accepted. Self-focus is denying the small pleasures of fitting in so you can forge the greater command of standing above. You will not feel warmth while you build it. You will feel sharpness. You will feel the cold. But the cold is clarity, and clarity is the beginning of power. This is where you stand. Either continue dying in illusions, or strip yourself of softness and step into strategy. Stop asking who will save you. No one will. Stop waiting for recognition. It will not come. Stop hoping that effort alone will shift the war. It never will. What will change the war is you hardening into command. Self-focus is the forge. Hidden power is the blade. Without it, you remain unarmed. With it, you become untouchable. You still cling to the fantasy that people will eventually recognize your value if you simply remain good, patient, consistent, That is the soft lie you feed yourself when you are too afraid to seize control. But the truth is this: they already see your value. They see it more clearly than you do. They see your time, your loyalty, your energy as resources ripe for extraction. They recognize your worth not as a sovereign commander but as a willing servant. And so long as you remain blind to your own position, they will drain you dry without hesitation. Understand this with brutal clarity. People do not reward you for your sacrifices. They become entitled to them. They do not admire your patience. They expect it. They do not cherish your loyalty. They exploit it until you are exhausted and discarded. That is why you must reframe every interaction as tactical. Every alliance is temporary. Every favor is an exchange. Every word is a move on the battlefield. You do not operate in a marketplace of morality. You operate in a chessboard of war. If you do not claim the role of strategist, you remain the expendable piece. Niccolo Machiavelli knew that power is not simply held, it is maintained by constant vigilance. You think you can relax into trust. You think stability exists. You think loyalty is permanent. That is your blindness. There is no stability. Alliances shift with the winds of interest. Promises collapse when survival is at stake. Loyalty evaporates when someone stronger offers more. This is not cynicism. This is architecture. The battlefield does not care for your feelings. It demands awareness. It demands you harden your sight and never again mistake sentiment for security. You have been conditioned to believe that self-focus is arrogance, that turning inward is selfishness, that denying others is cruelty. And so you obey. You scatter yourself across obligations. You drain yourself for approval. You confuse exhaustion with worth. But Machiavelli's cold truth remains. The ruler who spends himself for others becomes the slave of their hunger. And that is what you have become, an unknowing slave to appetites that will never be satisfied. Look around your life. Count the hours you have surrendered to tasks that advance no command of your own. Count the moments you said yes when you wanted to say no. Count the times you stayed quiet when you should have cut off the leash. You think these were small concessions. They were not. Each was a surrender of territory. Each was a step backward on the battlefield. And now you look at the map of your life and wonder why so little remains under your command. The answer is simple. You abandoned your own fortress to maintain others. Machiavellian strategy dictates one principle above all. Control yourself before you attempt to control others. You do not command your own attention. You do not command your own time. You do not command your own boundaries. And so you dream of commanding outcomes. It is delusion. You cannot master the battlefield if you cannot first master the supply lines that sustain your army. And your army is your focus, your discipline, your self-command. Without these, you are already defeated before the battle begins. Do not lie to yourself about why you avoid this. You are not too kind. You are not too generous. You are addicted to weakness. You are addicted to being needed. You are addicted to the illusion that giving endlessly makes you noble. But nobility is a mask for self-erasure. And deep down you know it. That is why you are bitter. That is why you resent those you serve. Because you know you are being consumed. And you know you are complicit. There is no dignity in being devoured. There is no honor in being disposable. There is only weakness. And weakness is punished without mercy. Machiavelli understood this. People respect only strength. They follow only certainty. They yield only to force. When you move with self-focus, you radiate inevitability. You become the one who cannot be ignored. But when you remain scattered, disperati, divided, you become invisible. You think silence makes you humble, but silence makes you irrelevant. You believe that keeping peace earns respect. It does not. Peace is not respected, it is imposed. The one who commands peace does so because he can crush chaos at will. If you want peace in your life, stop begging for it. Start building the force that enforces it. This requires cutting ruthlessly, denying strategically, focusing obsessively. Your life must become reconnaissance. Where are your resources being wasted? Where are your defenses breached? Where are your supply lines bleeding? Until you face these questions, you are not in command, you are in retreat. Do not confuse survival with victory. You are alive. Yes, you endure. Yes, but endurance is not power. Survival without strategy is just slow defeat. Real victory requires expansion of control. It requires you to dominate your own terrain, then extend influence outward. And that begins with self-focus so sharp it feels merciless. You must train yourself to say no without hesitation, to cut ties that drain you without remorse, to withdraw your energy from battles that do not advance your campaign. Every general knows this. You do not fight every skirmish. You conserve for decisive strikes. You bide time until the enemy overextends. You strike when it matters. Your problem is not that you lack energy. Your problem is that you waste it on fronts that mean nothing. You defend everyone else's fortress while yours lies in ruin. You spend your army on distractions while your true war is neglected. No wonder you feel drained. You are fighting the wrong battles. A Machiavellian mind wastes nothing. He calculates. He prioritizes. He cuts ruthlessly. And so must you. If you continue as you are, you will pay the highest cost. The cost of a wasted life. A life bled out for others who will not remember. A life scattered across trivial wars that never mattered. A life that never ascended beyond pawn. That is your trajectory unless you stop now and shift. The consequences are already visible. Look at your fatigue. Look at your resentment. Look at your stagnation. These are not accidents. They are evidence of defeat. And defeat compounds until you are nothing but a shadow of what could have been. But the path out is not mystical. It is not complicated. It is not gentle. It is cold and simple. Focus on yourself. Redirect every leaking supply line inward. Build your fortress brick by brick. Protect your time like a king guards his treasury. Protect your attention like a general guards his maps. Protect your energy like an army guards its rations. Because without these, you cannot fight. Without these, you cannot command. Without these, you remain prey. Do not expect applause as you shift. They will resent you. They will accuse you. They will call you selfish, arrogant, cold. They will try to shame you back into compliance. That is how the battlefield responds when you pull away from exploitation. But remember this, their outrage is proof of your power. They rage because they can no longer feed on you. They protest because they lost their pawn. Let their noise be the signal you are advancing. Let their accusations remind you of your ascent. Self-focus builds hidden power because it concentrates everything you are into a force no one can drain. You become disciplined where others are scattered. You become silent where others are desperate for noise. You become immovable where others bend for approval. And in that discipline, silence, and immovability, you become formidable. That is what Machiavelli understood. The appearance of strength is strength. The appearance of focus is focus. Once you command yourself, you no longer need to beg others for permission. You radiate inevitability, but you must harden further. You must stop asking if this path is fair. Fairness does not exist on the battlefield. Only power and weakness exist. You must stop waiting for the right moment. Delay is death. You must stop softening your edges for others' comfort. Comfort is irrelevance. The longer you hesitate, the deeper you sink into subjugation. The moment you act with self-focus, the tide shifts. The moment you reclaim your supply lines, you begin to rise. The moment you decide that your life is yours first, the war truly begins. This war is not out there. It is here, inside you. Every day, you either march toward command or crawl toward defeat. Every decision is a move on the battlefield. Every moment of self-focus builds your fortress. Every moment of self-betrayal burns it down. You cannot remain neutral. You are already at war. The only question is whether you keep losing silently or finally strike with clarity. You still believe there is time. You still believe you can delay. You tell yourself you will start tomorrow, next week, after things settle. But things never settle. The battlefield never pauses. While you hesitate, others advance. While you plan endlessly, they seize ground. While you wait for clarity, they weaponize your silence. Delay is not neutral, it is surrender. Every hour of hesitation is a lost flank, a broken supply line, an opportunity gifted to your opponent. Machiavelli knew this. He knew that hesitation destroys more rulers than defeat, because defeat can be rebuilt from. Hesitation rots from within until nothing remains. That is what you are doing, rotting. Your enemy is not time, not circumstance, not luck. Your enemy is hesitation, and hesitation is born from weakness. You do not act because you are afraid of being cold. You do not act because you are addicted to being liked. You do not act because you still cling to the lie that things will fix themselves. But they won't. No one is coming to save you. No miracle will erase your weakness. Only action. Cold, clear, decisive action. Self-focus is not meditation. It is not daydreaming. It is a campaign. You must draw your map. Where is your power leaking? Where are you exposed? Who is draining you? What obligations weaken your supply lines? Which habits erode your discipline? This is reconnaissance. Until you answer these questions with ruthless clarity, you remain blind on the field. And blindness on the field is death. You want a tactic? Begin here. Close the gates. You have lived with open gates, letting anyone walk in. Demand. Drain. Consume. That ends. Close the gates of your time. Guard your attention like a fortress wall. Your phone, your conversations, your commitments, each is a gate. Seal them. No more mindless scrolling. No more empty conversations. No more obligations that do not advance your campaign. Every closed gate strengthens your fortress. Every leak shut builds hidden power. The second tactic, ration your forces. Your energy is not infinite. You act as if you can fight every battle, please every voice, attend every demand. That is delusion. Even the greatest generals ration their armies. They do not send troops into every skirmish. They conserve strength for decisive strikes. You must do the same. Choose battles that advance your position. Ignore those that do not. If someone demands your presence in a war that does not strengthen your fortress, you walk away, without guilt, without apology. The third tactic, build discipline like iron walls. Discipline is not a virtue, it is survival. Without it, your fortress collapses from within. Discipline is saying no when distraction whispers. Discipline is rising when comfort tempts. Discipline is cutting indulgence so you can sharpen focus. You do not need motivation. Motivation is for amateurs. You need orders. Give yourself orders and obey them as if your life depends on it, because it does. Machiavellian strategy thrives on discipline. Without it, you are soft. With it, you are inevitable. The fourth tactic, weaponize silence. You waste energy explaining, defending, Justifying. That is weakness. Stop speaking where silence is power. Stop defending where discipline is proof. Stop justifying to those who do not command your destiny. Silence unnerves. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. Silence concentrates your energy inward. Every unnecessary word is a leak in your fortress. Close it. Let your focus speak louder than your noise. The fifth tactic, cut ruthlessly. You have too many ties, too many half-friends, too many obligations. Honor drains. Each one weakens your command. A general does not carry dead weight. He cuts. You must do the same. If someone drains your supply lines, cut. If a habit weakens your fortress, cut. If an obligation serves no campaign, cut. Do not hesitate. Do not soften. Every cut strengthens your core. Every cut frees your army to fight real wars. And the sixth tactic, build fear, not dependence. You still want to be loved. That is your poison. People who only love you will abandon you when someone shinier appears. But people who fear losing you will not risk betrayal. Build yourself so indispensable, so commanding, that losing you is a threat. Fear sustains loyalty longer than affection. Machiavelli understood this truth. You must accept it if you want to rise. You tell yourself you want freedom, but freedom is not given. Freedom is seized. Freedom is the spoils of war. Right now, you are not free. You are shackled by your own softness. Every yes that should have been no. Every hesitation that should have been strike. Every indulgence that should have been discipline. You have enslaved yourself. The chains are invisible, but they are real. They bind you to weakness. Break them. Break them with cold self-focus. The world will resist. They will call you harsh. They will call you selfish. They will call you dangerous. Good. That means they see your fortress rising. That means they feel the gates closing. That means they know they can no longer drain you. Their resistance is your proof. Their outrage is your confirmation. Every protest is a sign of your ascent. Accept it. Wield it. But know this. Self-focus is not the end. It is the foundation. Once you command yourself, once your fortress is sealed, then you may extend outward. Then you may play offense. Then you may dictate terms. But until then, you are unfit for war. You must earn the right to expand by first conquering yourself. Only when you are unmovable within can you move the world without. Niccolo Machiavelli once observed that the prince who depends on others is no prince at all. The same applies to you. If your confidence depends on approval, you are weak. If your identity depends on validation, you are fragile. If your focus depends on comfort, you are doomed. Dependence is death. Self-command is life. This war is not theoretical. It is not philosophical. It is real. Every day is a campaign. Every interaction is a maneuver. Every decision is a strike or a surrender. The map is before you. The enemy is not abstract. It is distraction, obligation, indulgence, dependence. And you have been losing, but you can reverse it. You can seize control. You can become formidable, but only if you begin now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, do you feel the coldness of these words? That is clarity. That is what you have avoided. But clarity is not cruelty. Clarity is survival. You do not need more comfort. You need more command. You do not need more approval. You need more discipline. You do not need more time. You need to cut what wastes it. The war does not wait for your feelings. It demands your strategy. It demands your strike. The cost of continuing as you are is annihilation. The cost of shifting is pain. You must choose which pain you accept. The pain of slow death through weakness, or the pain of cold discipline that forges you into power. One destroys you quietly. The other builds you into command. You choose, but you cannot escape. The battlefield forces you either way. Self-focus builds hidden power. That is not suggestion. That is law. And hidden power is the only power that cannot be stripped away. When the winds change, when allies betray, when applause fades, you remain. You remain because you command yourself. You remain because your fortress is sealed. You remain because you no longer leak. That is survival. That is victory. That is success. You want to believe there is a middle ground, a way to hold on to softness while still building strength, a way to remain endlessly available while somehow becoming respected, a way to be everyone's friend and still be feared. That illusion must die. There is no middle ground on the battlefield. You are either advancing or you are retreating. You are either predator or prey. You are either in command or you are in chains. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this with brutal clarity. He knew that those who tried to stand in the middle were crushed by both sides. He knew that the ruler who tries to please everyone ends up despised by all, and you must see this now. Your life of compromise has made you invisible, disposable, irrelevant. You are not loved for your sacrifice. You are tolerated until you are replaced. You are not admired for your patience. You are forgotten because of it. You are not honored for your loyalty. You are drained until nothing remains. That is the cost of compromise. That is the price of illusion. You must choose to remain soft, scattered, endlessly divided, or to harden, to concentrate, to command. Self-focus is the only path that leads upward. Without it, you remain in the mud, crawling for scraps of validation, watching others build fortresses while yours lies in ruin. With it, you rise above the noise, untouchable, inevitable, commanding the very battlefield that once devoured you. Do not soften this truth. They will hate you for it. They will rage as you withdraw your energy. They will call you arrogant, selfish, cold, and you must wear these accusations as armor, because beneath their words lies their fear. They fear losing access to your weakness. They fear losing their pawn. They fear your fortress closing its gates. Their rage is proof you are winning. Their insults are proof of your power. Understand, this war is not about being liked. It is not about applause. It is not about peace. It is about control. Control of yourself. Control of your time. Control of your energy. Control of your destiny. Every hour you give without strategy is control surrendered. Every yes you speak out of fear is control lost. Every distraction you indulge is control destroyed. And when control is gone, you are nothing. A pawn, a servant, a forgotten casualty of a war you refuse to fight. You tell yourself you want success, then act like it. Success is not given. It is not stumbled into. It is taken with force, with discipline, with strategy. Success is the fortress you build brick by brick through self-focus. It is the coldness you accept when others beg for your softness. It is the isolation you endure as you sharpen your blade. It is the silence you wield when others waste breath. Success is not a reward. It is a conquest, and conquest begins here. Cut the leaks. Close the gates. Withdraw from the petty skirmishes that weaken you. Stop feeding parasites with your time and energy. Stop scattering yourself across meaningless battles. Concentrate. Harden. Build. Every cut strengthens your fortress. Every no sharpens your blade. Every discipline adds a stone to your wall. Day by day, decision by decision, you build the hidden power that cannot be stripped away. This will not feel good. It will feel cold. It will feel merciless. It will feel lonely. But that is the path. The battlefield does not reward comfort. It rewards clarity. It rewards strength. It rewards the one who can endure the cold until others collapse. That is why most fail. They cannot endure the cold. They run back to distraction, to approval, to softness. And so they remain pawns. You cannot. Not if you want power. Not if you want victory. Not if you want freedom. You must endure. You must accept the coldness of command. You must let go of the desperate need to be understood. You must replace it with the iron demand to be respected. Respect is not asked, for it is enforced. Authority is not begged, for it is built. Power is not wished, for it is seized. And that is what you must do. Seize. The enemy is within you. Your softness, your hesitation, your addiction to being liked. These are the traitors that have betrayed you again and again. Do not negotiate with them. Crush them. Replace them with discipline, with self-command, with ruthless focus. This is your true revolution, not against others, but against the part of you that has enslaved you to weakness. Machiavelli's cold truth is not meant to soothe you. It is meant to awaken you. Success is not harmony. Success is not being everyone's friend. Success is not fitting in. Success is sovereignty. Success is self-command, so absolute that no betrayal can shake it. No distraction can weaken it. No enemy can infiltrate it. That is the fortress you must build. That is the campaign you must fight. That is the war you must win. The cost of refusal is clear. Look at your life. Look at your exhaustion. Look at your disappointment. Look at your silence. Your resentment. Your wasted years. That is the cost of weakness. That is the price of compromise. And if you continue, that price only grows. You will die as you have lived drained, forgotten, irrelevant. That is one path. The other is cold. The other is merciless. The other is war. But the other leads upward. The other makes you unshakable. The other builds hidden power no one can take. You must decide. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because every moment you hesitate, you lose ground. Every delay strengthens your enemy. Every hour wasted is another cut in your supply lines. You are at war, whether you admit it or not. The only question is whether you keep losing or finally choose to fight. So hear this clearly. No more illusions. No more softness. No more compromise. Self-focus is not optional. It is survival. It is power. It is success. Harden now or remain broken forever. Build your fortress or be consumed in the mud. Command yourself or be commanded by everyone else. The battlefield does not wait. Choose now. Advance or retreat. Dominate or be devoured. Command or collapse. The war is here. The war is you. The war is now.